The conference room door flew open with a bang that echoed like a gunshot through the open-plan floor, and I froze mid-sip of my lukewarm coffee, the mug trembling in my hand. "Quinn's got a date tonight. Hope it's not another one of those pillow fights," Javier sneered from his desk, his voice carrying like he'd rehearsed it for the whole sales team to applaud. Laughter rippled out, sharp and slicing, as I set the mug down so hard it sloshed over the rim, staining my sketchpad with brown regret. Another day in this Barcelona branch of Apex Marketing, where my queerness wasn't just tolerated, it was target practice. I'd come to Spain 2 years ago chasing the dream. Golden light on cobblestone streets, the salty bite of the Mediterranean air, a fresh start after a brutal breakup back in Seattle. Apex had lured me with promises of creative freedom. Designing campaigns for luxury brands, my illustrations splashed across billboards from La Rambla to the Sagrada Familia. At 28, with my portfolio of bold, colorful graphics, I thought I'd found my place. But the office? It was a viper's nest disguised as a co-working space in the Eixample district, all glass walls and exposed brick hiding the poison. My colleagues, mostly expats like me, Americans and Brits chasing tax breaks and tapas, had sniffed out my rainbow pin on my bag within weeks. What started as side-eyes turned to whispers, then jokes that landed like punches. Quinn's sketches are so vibrant, matches her lifestyle, Sarah from accounts would quip during lunch, her fake laugh drawing nods from the guys in sales. I'd smile through it, file complaints that vanished into HR's black hole, tell myself it was temporary. But temporary felt eternal when every morning commute on the metro pulled me deeper into this isolation. That Monday, the air in the office hummed with the usual pre-meeting buzz. Keyboards clacking, espresso machines hissing like judgmental ants. I hunched over my iPad at my corner desk, tweaking a logo for a wine brand. Swirling vines in deep crimson, evoking passion without the mess. My phone buzzed, a text from Mia, my ex back home. "Heard Barcelona's treating you like royalty. Miss your art shows." I typed back a heart emoji, but it felt hollow. Mia and I had ended things amicably 6 months in. Her straight-laced family in Ohio pulling her back to normalcy. She'd been my first real love, the one who taught me that softness could be strength. Now, single and out, I navigated Apex like a minefield, dating sporadically through apps. Coffee dates that fizzled under the weight of my guarded heart. "Team huddle in 5, called out Marcus, our sales lead. A burly Texan with a mustache that screamed midlife crisis. He clapped his hands like we were cattle. I saved my file, smoothed my thrifted linen blouse, the one with the subtle embroidered flowers Mia had picked out, and grabbed my notebook. The meeting room overlooked the bustling Passeig de Gracia, where tourists snapped selfies against Gaudí's undulating facades. It was a view that usually grounded me, a reminder that beauty persisted amid chaos. Today it just mocked my trapped feeling. As we filed in, the snickers started. Javier, the junior copywriter with gelled hair and a perpetual smirk, leaned into Sarah. "Bet Quinn's pitching something fierce today. Like her weekend." They both glanced my way, and I felt heat crawl up my neck. I chose a seat by the window, away from the cluster, flipping open my notebook to doodle absent-mindedly. A woman with windswept hair, gazing at the sea. Marcus launched into metrics. Q3 projections up 12% but creative lagging. My turn came too soon. "Quinn, your wine comps?" He nodded at the projector. I stood, clicking through slides. Elegant bottles against sunset-drenched vineyards. Taglines like "Savor the Forbidden." The room quieted, at least for the praise. "Solid visuals," Marcus grunted. "But let's amp the romance, make it sizzle." Javier couldn't resist. "Yeah, Quinn knows all about sizzling. Right, ladies?" The room erupted. Chuckles from the men, awkward coughs from the women. Sarah tittered. "Oh, Javier, you're terrible." My throat tightened, vision blurring at the edges. I gripped the remote like a lifeline, forcing a laugh that sounded like choking. "Hilarious, as always. Any actual feedback?" Marcus waved it off. "Ignore the clown. Next up." But the damage lingered, a sour aftertaste as we dispersed. Back at my desk, I stared at the screen, the vines now looking strangled. Tears pricked, hot and unwelcome. Why fight? Pack up, go home to my tiny flat in Gracia. Curl up with a bottle of Albarino and Netflix reruns of The L Word. But quitting meant admitting defeat, and I'd come too far for that. That's when she walked in. The elevator dinged and heads turned like meerkats. Reagan Ellis, the new creative director, transferred from the New York office. Word had trickled down. 32, sharp as a stiletto, poached for her award-winning campaigns. Think viral ads for indie films that tugged heartstrings while selling tickets. She strode through the floor in low-heeled boots, a leather tote slung over one shoulder, her auburn waves catching the light like autumn leaves. Tall, with a posture that said I've seen worse than you, she scanned the space, her hazel eyes landing briefly on me before flicking to Marcus. Reagan Ellis, she said, extending a hand as he pumped it enthusiastically. Settling in already? Jet lag's a bitch, but the paella helps. Her voice was pure East Coast. Clipped vowels, a hint of Brooklyn grit. No nonsense but warm like spiced chai on a rainy day. Introductions rippled out. When she reached my desk, her handshake was firm, lingering a beat. Quinn Harper? Love your portfolio, the travel series for that eco-resort? Haunting. I blinked, caught off guard. Thanks. That was personal. She tilted her head, a small smile playing. Good. Art should bleed a little. Then she was gone, commandeering the corner office with its balcony view. The rest of the week blurred. Reagan in back-to-backs, her door ajar enough to catch snippets, brainstorming sessions that actually brainstormed, no room for bullshit. She hosted an impromptu tapas run on Thursday, the team spilling onto the terrace of a nearby bar, glasses clinking under string lights. I hung back, nursing a vermouth, watching her laugh with the group, genuine head thrown back revealing the curve of her neck. Javier tried his charm. So Reagan, what's a girl like you doing in a place like this? She shot him a look that could curdle milk. Writing copy apparently. Yours needs work. The table howled, and for once the joke wasn't on me. I met her eyes across the sangria pitcher, and she winked quick, conspiratorial. My stomach flipped, a spark I hadn't felt since Mia's first kiss under Seattle's perpetual drizzle. Friday brought the all-hands strategy meeting, the one that would change everything, per Marcus's email blast. The room filled early, tension thick as fog off the harbor. Reagan at the head, projector humming. She dove in. Apex's pivot to inclusive branding, targeting Gen Z with stories of authenticity. No more cookie-cutter ads, she said, pacing. We sell connection. Real ones. Slides flipped. Diverse couples on beaches, friends toasting at pride parades, subtle rainbows woven in. My heart swelled. It was everything I'd pitched and been shot down for. Javier shifted uncomfortably. Sarah whispered something, eliciting a snicker. Reagan paused. Problem. Javier straightened. Just. Risky. Not everyone's on board with the Rainbow Brigade. The room stilled. Reagan's gaze sharpened. Elaborate. He shrugged, glancing at me. You know, pushing the agenda. Some clients are traditional. Spain's Catholic roots and all. I sank into my chair, pulse thundering. Here it came, the pylon, with Reagan as the new kid oblivious to the undercurrents. But she didn't flinch. Agenda? This is business. Data shows inclusive campaigns boost engagement 25%. If that's pushing, then sign me up. She turned to the group. Anyone else? Silence, broken only by the distant honk of a scooter. Then Sarah. It's just. Quinn's ideas are always so personal. Reagan's eyes found mine. Quinn's ideas are brilliant. And personal is the point. Who's next? The meeting rolled on, but the air had shifted, charged, like the moment before a storm breaks. Afterward, as chairs scraped, Reagan caught my elbow in the hall. Coffee? My treat. That flat white place on Cara den Rorick. I nodded, words failing. We walked in companionable quiet, the November sun slanting low, casting long shadows on the uneven stones. The cafe was a hole in the wall, mismatched chairs and chalkboard menus scrawled in Catalan. Over steaming cups, hers black, mine with oat milk, she leaned in. That wasn't okay back there. The digs. I stirred my foam, avoiding her gaze. Par force de course. I've got thick skin. Bullshit. Her tone softened. I've been there. Corporate world's a meat grinder for anyone who doesn't fit the mold. You. I looked up, curious despite myself. She traced the rim of her cup. Bye. Dated a woman in college, art major, total firecracker. Came out in my 20s, post a bad straight relationship. New York's better than most, but the whispers? They follow. Empathy bloomed in my chest, warm and unexpected. Must be why your ads hit different. Like you get the ache behind the pretty pictures. Exactly. She smiled slow and real. So tell me about yours. The woman in your sketches, the one with the sea eyes. Heat flushed my cheeks. Just fragments. Lost loves, maybe. We talked for hours, Barcelona's hidden gems, her favorite. Park del Labyrinth de Horta at twilight, my Seattle rain obsession, her New York subway sketches. By the time we parted, the sun had dipped, street lamps flickering on. Dinner sometime? She asked, casual as ordering paella. Yeah, I breathed. Sometime soon. That sometime became Tuesday. A quiet spot in the Bourne district with candlelit tables and jazz murmuring from hidden speakers. Reagan arrived in jeans and a cashmere sweater, effortless, her laugh filling the spaces between bites of patatas bravas. We shared stories, her climb at Apex poaching risky clients, my freelance days illustrating queer zines back home. You're fearless, she said, eyes locking on mine over tiramisu. That takes guts. Not fearless. Just stubborn. Our hands brushed, reaching for the same napkin, and electricity hummed, subtle but undeniable. Weeks blurred into a rhythm. Stolen lunches on the office roof, where we'd sketch ideas on napkins, her foot nudging mine under the table. Strolls after work along the Barceloneta boardwalk, toes in the sand talking dreams, hers to direct a short film, mine to exhibit in a gallery raw and unfiltered. The office noticed. Javier's jab sharpened, laced with jealousy. Quinn's got a new muse. Careful, Reagan. She might convert you. Sarah rolled her eyes, but the gossip mill churned. I ignored it, lost in Reagan's orbit. She was sunlight after fog. The way she'd tuck a stray hair behind my ear during reviews, or text me photos of graffiti that screamed your style. One night, under a canopy of jacaranda blooms in a hidden plaza, she kissed me, soft, tentative, tasting of Merlot and promise. I've wanted that since the tapas, she whispered against my lips. Me too. My hands found her waist, the world narrowing to her warmth. But paradise cracks. It started with an email. Anonymous, forwarded to the team list. Screenshots of my old Instagram, pride flags, Mia and me at a rally, captions like love wins even in the rain. Attached. A mock-up of my wine campaign twisted with caricatures, 2 women kissing amid the vines, labeled savor the forbidden fruit. Sender. Unknown, but Javier's smirk in the break room gave him away. HR called me in. Harassment. I insisted, voice steady despite the quake inside. They nodded, promised investigation. Reagan stormed the meeting uninvited, slamming printouts down. This is libel. Fire the bastard. But doubt crept in. Reagan pulled strings, calls to New York, late nights drafting complaints. Gratitude swelled, but so did fear. Was I dragging her down? The office fractured. Alliances shifting, whispers turning to outright cold shoulders. Sarah cornered me in the ladies' room. You're ruining everything. Reagan's too good for this drama. Jealous. I shot back, but it stung. The climax brewed in the quarterly review. A high-stakes board call with execs from headquarters. Reagan's inclusive pitch was the centerpiece, my visuals the backbone. The night before, we rehearsed in her flat. A airy loft in Poblenou. Canvases leaning against white walls, her cat weaving between our ankles. We've got this, she said, pulling me close on the worn leather couch. Our kiss deepened, hands exploring with a hunger born of stress, but we pulled back. Boundaries intact, hearts racing. Morning dawned gray. A Mistral wind rattling the windows. The conference room buzzed. Execs on screen, stone-faced suits from Manhattan. Reagan presented flawlessly, data stories, my slides blooming like fireworks. Applause crackled through the speakers. Then Javier's turn. One concern, client feedback on the personal elements. He clicked and there it was, the doctored mock-up blown up for all to see. Gasps rippled. My stomach dropped. Quinn. An exec's voice, tinny. Care to explain? I stood, legs leaden, words deserting. Reagan's hand found mine under the table, squeeze anchor. Before I could speak, she rose, voice steel. That's not Quinn's work. It's sabotage. By someone here. She turned to Javier, eyes blazing. You. The email's traced to your IP. HR confirmed this morning. The room erupted, denials, chairs shoving back. Javier paled. It's a joke. She's the one stirring. Enough. Reagan's tone cut like glass. Quinn's talent is why we're up 18% this quarter. Her authenticity, that's our edge. And for the record. She paused, glancing at me, vulnerability flickering. I'm bi. Have been since I kissed my college roommate under the Brooklyn Bridge. If that's a problem, the door's there. Silence profound. Then the lead exec. Bold. We like bold. Javier, you're done. Quinn, Reagan, keep pushing. The call ended in a flurry of approvals. As the team filed out stunned, Reagan pulled me into the empty room, door clicking shut. You okay? Tears spilled, then relief crashing. You didn't have to out yourself. I did. For us. She cupped my face, thumbs brushing salt away. This isn't just work, Quinn. It's you. We kissed amid the chaos. Desperate, affirming, the city skyline blurring beyond. Betrayal's sting faded against her steadiness. A reminder that love isn't absence of storm, but dancing in it. Months later, the office transformed. Javier gone, sensitivity trainings mandatory. My designs leading campaigns that trended from Madrid to Miami. Reagan and I? We built something real, weekends hiking Montserrat's crags. Her directing my illustrations into animated shorts. Quiet evenings with her cat purring between us. One spring dusk on that same boardwalk, toes in cool sand, she slipped a key into my palm. Not a proposal. Just, home. I leaned into her, whispering approval. Yeah, home. In Barcelona's embrace. Expat dreams woven with local heart. We found not just survival but thriving. Proof that even in mockery's shadow, one voice, one meeting, can rewrite the story. The key's weight lingered in my pocket like a talisman as I navigated the metro back to Gracia that evening. The train's rhythmic clatter echoing my racing thoughts. Reagan's flat in Poblenou wasn't just space. It was her. Sketchbooks piled on the kitchen island, half-burnt candles from late-night inspirations, a framed photo of her with that college girlfriend, both grinning in oversized hoodies against a graffiti wall. We'd spent the afternoon unpacking my easel there, laughing over takeout falafel, but the gesture hit deeper. Trust after the office war zone. I texted me a quick update, things shifting. Met someone real. Her reply about time. Send pics of the sunsets. Sleep evaded me that night, the ceiling fan whirring like unanswered questions. Was this too fast? After Javier's axe fell, escorted out by security, his desk cleared by noon, the team tiptoed around me, apologies mumbled over vending machine snacks. Sarah even baked cookies, gluten-free for my sensitivities, though her eyes darted like she expected backlash. Marcus pulled me aside. Reagan's a force. You too. Good for the vibe. It was progress, but scars itched. Nights I'd cried into my pillow, sketching faceless figures turning away. By week's end, Reagan suggested a getaway. Weekend in the Pyrenees? Fresh air, no emails. I packed light jeans, my favorite flannel, charcoals for impromptu drawings. We drove her rented Fiat up winding roads, the city fading into olive groves and terraced hills. Radio crooning Fleetwood Mac's Landslide. Her hand on my thigh, casual anchor, felt like permission to breathe. The cabin was rustic charm. Stone walls, a fireplace crackling against mountain chill. Views of snow-capped peaks that stole breath. We hiked that first day, boots crunching frost-kissed leaves, stopping at a glacial lake where mist rose like ghosts. Tell me something true, she said, skipping stones, her breath fogging the air. I pondered, skipping my own plunk ripple. I used to think love was a Seattle storm, intense then gone. Now, maybe it's this, the quiet build. She caught my neck stone midair, pulling me close. It's both. Storm and steady. Her kiss tasted of pine and possibility. Bodies warming against the wind. Evenings blurred into intimacy. Cooking paella over the fire, hers charred, mine salvaged with lemon, her reading poetry aloud. Audre Lorde, voices low and fervent. Your silence will not protect you, she'd murmur, eyes on mine. I'd counter with sketches. Her profile against the flames, lines soft yet sure. No rush to labels, we were verbs exploring, unfolding. Back in Barcelona, reality nipped. A client dinner loomed. Major account, Spanish luxury watch brand, execs with old school ties. Reagan prepped us. Play it straight, pun intended. Charm, not controversy. I nodded, but nerves twisted. The restaurant was opulent. Velvet booths, chandeliers dripping light, waiters in crisp whites gliding with platters of jamon iberico. The execs arrived. Senor Alvarez, silver-haired patriarch, flanked by his son and a consultant. Handshakes firm, compliments on the pitches. Reagan shone, articulating visions of timeless elegance with modern edge. My visuals followed. Watches against Barcelona's mosaic tiles, wrists entwined in subtle promise. Alvarez nodded approvingly. Bold. But the intimacy. Too forward for our demographic. My pulse spiked. Reagan jumped in smooth. Intimacy sells aspiration. It's universal. Love across divides. He chuckled, waving his cigar. Ah, but Spain remembers Franco's shadows. Discretion always. The consultant leaned in, eyes on me. Heard about your office drama. Brave Miss Harper. Heat flooded. How? Whispers traveled fast in tight circles. I forced poise. Challenges build character. Like a fine mechanism, pressure forges precision. Reagan's foot nudged mine under the table, solidarity. The deal closed that night. Handshake sealing it over brandy. Outside, under stars pricking the velvet sky, she exhaled. You nailed that. We did. I linked arms, heels clicking on marble. But the comment lingered, a thorn. It festered midweek when an email from New York hit Reagan's inbox. CC'd to me by mistake? No, deliberate. Performance review draft. Her metrics stellar, but a note. Interpersonal dynamics with Harper raise flags. Potential favoritism post-incident. Attached. Javier's exit interview, redacted but damning. Claims of clique forming, morale dip. My stomach nodded. Betrayal's echo fresh. I confronted her in the stairwell, away from prying ears. Is this why you're pushing so hard? Covering for me. Her face crumpled. Quinn, no. That's bullshit, HR fishing. Javier's poison. But the optics. Me, the problem queer, you swooping in. Words tumbled, laced with old fears. I don't want to be your regret. She stepped close, voice fierce. Regret? You're my clarity. This job's a treadmill. You make it mean something. Tears glistened in her eyes, raw, unguarded. Stay. Fight with me. I did, but doubt seeded. Days stretched taut. Meetings where glances lingered too long, judgments veiled in feedback. Sarah, thawing ally, pulled me for coffee. They're scared. Change rattles. But Reagan? She's all in. Her words bolstered, but the real test came unbidden. A gallery opening in El Raval, queer artists from across Europe. Reagan begged off. Deadline crunch. Go, soak it up, tell me everything. I went alone, the space alive with color. Murals of intertwined bodies in abstract fury, sculptures of lovers defying gravity. A painter, Lena, mid-40s, dread-streaked silver, recognized my work from a zine swap. Quinn Harper? Your lines breathe. We talk shop over cheap wine. Her stories of Madrid's underground scene stirring envy-free inspiration. Midnight found me on the curb, buzzed and buoyant, hailing a cab. My phone lit. Reagan. Missed you tonight. Balconies waiting. Heart swelled. I detoured to Pablanu. She met me at the door in silk pajamas, hair tousled. How was it? Electric. I pulled her into the night air. The city a distant hum. We leaned on the railing, sharing sips from a pilfered bottle. One piece, two women, backs to the canvas, reaching but not touching. The space between? Heartbreaking. Like us before. Her fingers laced mine. No more space. We made love then, slow, reverent, bodies mapping forgiveness. Dawn painted us gold, doubts dissolving in her whisper. I choose you. Every version. But choices test. 2 weeks on, the betrayal struck true. Not from foes but fracture within. Reagan's ex, Alex, bisexual whirlwind from New York, emailed. Casual catch-up masked as concern. Heard about the drama. You deserve better than corporate cages. Remember Ibiza? Attached photos, old flames flickering. Reagan and Alex on a beach, arms tangled, carefree. Jealousy gnawed, irrational but real. I pocketed it, but it leaked. Snappish replies during sketches, silences stretching. She noticed, cornering me post-meeting. What's eating you? Nothing. Lie tasted bitter. Her eyes narrowed. Alex. I deflated. Just. History. Loud. She sighed, pulling me to the rooftop. Wind whipped, carrying salt from the port. Ibiza was escape, post-breakup haze. But you? Your anchor. Story spilled. Alex's volatility, the crash that sent Reagan stateside. I ended it. Chose steady. Chose this. Relief washed, but vulnerability lingered. Promise no ghosts? Only the ones we draw. She kissed my temple fierce. Together. The office, meanwhile, simmered toward eruption. Rumors swirled. Budget cuts. New York eyeing the Barcelona branch for streamlining. Marcus called a crisis huddle. Layoffs looming, creative hit hardest. Reagan volunteered frontline. Protect the juniors. I've got tenure. I protested in whispers. We fight tandem. Her smile wry. Always. Climax crested in the boardroom. Echoes of that fateful meeting. Execs virtual, faces grim. Reorg, the CFO droned. Trim fat. Names dropped. Sarah safe, Javier's ghost avenged in metrics. Then, Harper's strong portfolio but recent disruptions. My blood iced. Reagan bolted up. Disruptions? You mean innovation? Quinn's campaigns drove the watch deal. 20% uplift. Debate raged, voices overlapping. The consultant from dinner. Personal entanglements complicate. Reagan's laugh bitter. Entanglements? Love isn't complication, it's fuel. She turned to me, public yet private. Quinn's my partner. In life in this. Fire her, you lose us both. Gasps virtual and real. The CFO paused, pixels freezing. That's. Noted. Ellis, your call. She looked at me, question, plea. I nodded, heartful. We stay. Or go. Together. Silence stretched, then concession. Retain both. Restructure around your vision. Cheers erupted as screens blinked out. The team mobbed us, hugs, backslaps. Javier's sabotage? Ancient history. Sarah popped champagne. To the power duo. Later, alone on the balcony, city lights winking like conspirators, Reagan held me. Scared me. Me too. Fingers intertwined. But worth it. Betrayal's lessons. Not all fractures fatal. Some forge stronger seams. In Spain's sun-baked soul. American hearts transplanted. We bloomed, human and whole. Summer unfurled in Barcelona like a long-awaited exhale. The air thick with jasmine and the distant crash of waves. But for Reagan and me, it was a season of quiet revolutions. The reorg solidified our roles, her as interim head, me leading a new Authentic Voices pod, mentoring juniors on inclusive design. The office shed its skin. Rainbow stickers on laptops, voluntary ally workshops drawing full rooms. Even Marcus grew a pride flag pin, awkward but earnest. Never thought I'd say this, but y'all make us better. He grumbled over team beers, raising a glass. Yet scars whisper. Nights I'd wake to Reagan's soft snores, her arm draped possessive, and trace the faint lines worry had etched around her eyes. The outing in that meeting? It rippled, congratulatory DMs from old colleagues, but also trolls on her LinkedIn, anonymous barbs like token diversity hire. She brushed them off. Noise. We make the music. But I saw the toll, the way she'd linger over her phone, jaw tight. To counter, we carved rituals. Sunday markets in La Boqueria, haggling over figs and artisanal cheeses, her bartering in broken Spanish drawing laughs from vendors. Afternoon sketching in Park Güell, my head in her lap as she read from a battered copy of Giovanni's Room. Baldwin's words weaving through the breeze. Longing defiance. This is us, she'd say, fingers in my hair. Invisible but indelible. One such afternoon, inspiration struck, a collab pitch. Animated shorts blending my illustrations with her narrative flair. Pitched to a queer film fest in Sitges. We holed up in the loft, whiteboard scrawled with storyboards. Two women, one a wanderer sketching cities, the other a director chasing light, their paths crossing in a rain-soaked plaza. Fiction mirrored life, emotions raw, hesitation, spark, the terror of vulnerability. Film it, I urged, charcoal-smudged hands on hers. Your voice behind it. She hesitated, old insecurities surfacing. What if it flops? Exposing that much. Then we try again. I kissed her knuckles. Art's not safe. It's us. The pitch landed. Greenlit, modest budget. Production buzzed. Casting local actresses. a non-binary barista with fire in their delivery. Location scouts in the Bari Gotic's labyrinth alleys. Reagan directed with quiet command calling cut, only to pull me aside for notes. More ache in the glance, like yours when you think I'm not looking. Shoot days bled into magic. Golden hour takes where the sun gilds stone like honey. Crew bonding over encymadas at dawn. Offset we'd steal moments, her hand in mine on the clifftop path, whispering futures. A joint studio travels to Seattle's galleries, maybe a dog, a scruffy mutt named after Virginia Woolf. But harmony frays at edges. Mia visited unannounced, flying in for a design conference, crashing my flat for old time's sake. Jet-lagged and nostalgic, she hugged too long at the airport, her perfume stirring ghosts. Barcelona suits you, she said over churros, eyes scanning my changed ease. Who's the glow? I spilled Reagan the whirlwind, the win. Mia listened, smile bittersweet. She sounds solid. Unlike us, too young, too stormy. That night, dinner at the loft. 3 of us, paella simmering, wine flowing. Reagan charmed effortlessly. Stories of New York's underground film scene. Toasting Mia's latest ad gig. But undercurrents pulled. Mia's laugh too bright, her gaze lingering on shared glances. You two are poetry, she said, clinking glasses. Later, alone with me on the balcony. Don't let it slip. Love like that? Rare. Her words haunted as she departed. A hug that lingered like farewell. Reagan sensed the shift. Vibes. Water under the bridge. But doubt niggled, was I enough? Reagan's world, director's chair accolades dwarfed my sketches. The fest loomed, screenings in Sidge's Art Deco theater. Waves crashing beyond. We arrived windswept, her in a linen suit, me in a flowy dress with pockets for lucky charcoals. The short premiered to hushed awe. Our wanderer and director colliding, frames pulsing with color. Sepia alleys bursting to rainbow. Applause thundered. A standing ovation, tears streaking my cheeks as Reagan gripped my hand, knuckles white. Post-screening reception. Champagne flutes, critics buzzing. A producer cornered Reagan. Expand this feature length? I've got funding. Her eyes lit, but she glanced at me. Talk to my partner. It's ours. Pride swelled, but later in our cliffside hotel room, waves serenading, she paced. What if I take it? New York pull months away. My heart clenched. Then we bridge it. Calls at dawn, visits in stolen weekends. Or I pass. She stopped, vulnerable. You're my center, Quinn. No skyline worth losing that. We talked till stars wheeled. Compromises, calendars synced like watch gears. Decision hybrid, remote directs from Barcelona, me scripting visuals. Team, she affirmed, pulling me to the balcony. Moonlight silvered the sea, we danced slow barefoot to phantom jazz. Return brought grounding. Office harvest festival, team potluck on the roof with Catalan flags fluttering. I manned the grill, flipping veggies, Reagan beside, her hand brushing my back. Javier's absence a non-entity. New hires, fresh faces, peppered questions. How'd you two meet? We'd grin. One meeting. Changed everything. Autumn deepened. Leaves turning in the Calcerola hills. We hiked there one crisp Sunday, packs heavy with thermoses of horchata, her leading to a lookout. Barcelona sprawled below, Sagrada spires piercing sky. Marry me? She asked, casual as unpacking sandwiches, but ring box trembling in her palm, simple band engraved with intertwined vines. Tears blurred the view. Yes. 1,000 times. Not church bells but us. Civil ceremony in a Gracia courtyard, spring blooms rioting. Guests sparse but true. Mia via video toasting with a wink. Sarah as witness teary-eyed. Marcus fumbling vows as best man. Rings exchanged under olive boughs, promises whispered. Through mocks and meetings, storms and steadies. Honeymoon. A road trip through Andalusia, white villages clinging to sierras, flamenco echoing in Granada's caves. Nights in posadas with tile floors cool underfoot, her stories lulling me. Childhood in Philly row houses, first crush on a neighbor girl with braids. Days exploring Alhambra's arches, my sketches filling a journal. Her silhouette against fountains, water arcing like joy. Back home, life layered. The feature greenlit, my solo exhibit at a small El Raval gallery. Queer narratives in bold strokes, Reagan curating the opener. Opening night. Crowd thick, her speech heart-piercing. Quinn sees souls. She saw mine. Years folded forward. The film premiered at Sundance. Standing ovation in Park City snow, our hands clasped through credits. Apex promoted us tandem Barcelona branch, a model for inclusivity. A daughter came later, adopted. A whirlwind toddler with Reagan's curls and my green eyes, named Alara for the stars we chased. Challenges came. Funding droughts, family holidays fraught with questions from Reagan's conservative aunt, my own doubts in quiet hours. But we navigated. Therapy sessions in a sunlit office, date nights reclaiming sparks, art as exhale. One anniversary, back on that Pyrenees lake, Alara splashing at the shore. We skipped stones, her small hand in mine. Mommy, why's the water ripple? Love, Reagan said, arm around us. It starts small, spreads forever. In Spain's tapestry, American threads woven tight, we proved it. Mockery's echo fades, but connection endures. Human, flawed, fierce. A story not of perfection but persistence. One meeting sparked it. Every day sustains.